Hey Aces, welcome back to the channel. I am a little bit late, but I definitely wanted to make a video celebrating Martin Luther King Day. Of course, we know that he is an international icon, civil rights leader, Nobel Peace Prize winner, but most of all, I remember him as someone who changed the face of our country and its dynamics in regards to civil rights. So let's get into his life, his legacy, and celebrate everything that he worked for in his short 39 years here on Earth. Dr. Martin Luther King was born on January 15th, 1929, and he died April 4th, 1968. He was an American Baptist minister and activist, one of the most prominent leaders in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination. He was an African American church leader and the son of an early civil rights activist and minister, his father, Martin Luther King Sr. Dr. King advanced civil rights for people of color in the United States through nonviolence and civil disobedience. Inspired by his Christian beliefs and nonviolent activism of Mahatma Gandhi, he led targeted nonviolent resistance against Jim Crow laws and other forms of discrimination. So, right here, we see him with his daughter, Bernice King. She's very active on Twitter, and I'm so glad that she posted this picture. She said that she wanted all the pictures going forward to be in color because when you really think about it, Dr. King, 1968 was not that long ago, and his legacy is still ongoing. And on the left, you have his wife, Coretta Scott King, who was an activist and a civil rights leader in her own right. After Dr. King was assassinated, she carried on his legacy through marches, through protests, and other works. So we're definitely grateful to Coretta Scott King for her contribution to civil rights. And here, Dr. King is leading one of his famous marches. And, you know, he has paved the way for not only Black people, but for all demographics of people, whether you're immigrants coming from a war-torn country or you are whoever you are. Dr. King has made everyone's life better. That Margaret Mead quote, who is a famous anthropologist, and she says that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it only takes one person to change the world. He's that person. And so I'm so grateful for not only him, but his legacy, everyone he inspired, his family. And, unfortunately, right now, I feel like his legacy, like in Virginia, there's legislation being passed that is trying to erase him as well as Barack Obama from the history books, which is insane because you can't teach American history without mentioning, of course, the 44th president of the United States, but also Dr. King. He is a huge part of American history, and his legacy has opened the doors for so many opportunities for millions, if not billions, of people. Okay. People know about Dr. King all around the globe. He is an international icon. And right here, we have Black men, we have Black women, we have white men that are marching, calling to end racism. And what saddens me is that while this was going on in the 60s, there's so many rights that are being stripped away that so many have bled for and died for. And I just feel like we see history consistently repeating itself. And I'm hoping that this hatred of the other, right? Whether it's, white people, Black people, Asians, that we can really get past the surface level of someone's skin tone, of someone's difference, and really treat people equally and judge them purely on their merit and what they bring to the table. We don't automatically demonize someone for having a different culture than us or having an accent or whatever it is. There's a myriad of differences between human beings, but biologically, we're 99% more alike than we are different. So, one thing I do love about Dr. King and his legacy also was that he talked about economic equality. And I really, once he started talking about the economics of things, I feel like that's when the death threats and the assassination attempts began to increase on his life, right? That old adage of, follow the money. But I really truly feel like, he wanted us to come together as a society and wake up to the economic disparities and the huge, gaps of wealth that occur within a small population and a large population. And this, of course, has been going on throughout history. I mean, that's the whole reason why, the French Revolution happened, where the French, rioted in the streets and they broke out the guillotines because of the huge wealth disparities. And unfortunately, it's just gotten larger within our country. The US is the richest nation in the world, but the top 1%, they don't pay the taxes that they should. If they did, okay, if they did, then the whole country as a whole would be so much better off. Our public programs and our society as a whole would be so much better off versus just catering to the 1%, which are hoarding, you know, billions and billions of dollars that they don't pay taxes on. So that was a huge, you know, um, part of his ideology, right? Is that, socialism is not necessarily, shouldn't be something that should be dismissed so easily without a critical analysis of it. Capitalism and racism are interlocked because of the 400-year disparity that occurred with slavery, with Jim Crow, with gerrymandering, with discriminatory practices that are still happening today. So thank you so much, Dr. King. Here are a few of my favorite quotes of his. He says, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy." Here's one of my favorite pictures of him and Malcolm X. They both had the end goal, the same goal, which was freedom from oppression for Black people. They both wanted economic equality. They both wanted freedom, pretty much. And, Malcolm X had a different way of going about things. He did not believe in nonviolence as Dr. King did. He believed, that things should get done by any means necessary. He was a Muslim, but when he went overseas on his annual trip to Mecca, he realized that it's not a racial difference that's causing so much controversy and strife, but a cultural and ideological difference. Differences in ideology that prevent people from being treated fairly and equally. So if you look at someone and you have this learned behavior that they are inferior to you because of, whatever feature. It doesn't have to be skin color. It can be that they have an accent or, they're from a country that has been constantly in war against your country. Whatever the case may be, Those are the differences that both of these leaders were trying to eradicate while they were still alive. Here's another one of my favorite quotes from Dr. King. He says, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter." And that's so true. And I really hope that, not only with, and I know my channel is definitely, I try to keep it light and fun, going over like pop culture and films and TV shows. But I also want to highlight such an important man in our legacy, and I definitely don't want his legacy and history to ever be erased by bigots, by those who are, you know, too cowardly to face up to America's history. It's not all, bed and roses and peaches and cream. We need to teach about the genocide. We need to teach about slavery. We need to teach the truth to our children about our country so that we can learn and grow from it and become a better nation. That's what it says in our Constitution, right? To become a more perfect union. We're not perfect, but we're working toward becoming a more perfect union. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed your Martin Luther King Day. Drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk with you later. Bye, Aces.